A massive pit suddenly appeared on the ground, but Amy only realized after jumping into the pit. It was actually a giant footprint. What kind of creature could leave behind such a huge footprint? According to two elderly witnesses, around noon, just as they were about to have lunch, the dog outside their yard started barking nonstop. They thought the dog was just hungry and didn't pay attention, but soon, the entire house began to shake. They thought it was an earthquake, so they hurried into the basement to take cover. Just as they got into the basement, a violent impact struck the house. When they heard that things had finally calmed down outside, they finally opened the wooden door of the basement, only to find their home had been reduced to rubble. And on the ground were two enormous footprints. After hearing the couple's account, the investigation team believed a giant creature must have passed through, so they followed the footprints and searched within a 20-mile radius. They even used thermal imaging devices, but in the end, they came up empty-handed. However, they had no idea. The monster was camouflaged among the mountains like a rock. Determined to find the creature, Amy brought her team to find her father John. John, a professor of archaeology, had been studying such monsters for years, but no one believed unknown creatures existed in the real world. Because of that, he was committed to a psychiatric hospital for 6 years. Only now, with new evidence of the monster, did they realize John's research had been correct all along. They brought John to the spot where the monster had vanished. John quickly noticed, the terrain didn't match the maps at all. Just as they were wondering if a landslide had changed the landscape, a creature suddenly rose from the ground. It had a face somewhat like a human's. Its skin resembled the rocky cliffs of the mountain, and it had a long tail trailing behind. The creature's image was quickly transmitted back to the camp. To prevent it from reaching the nearby city, they decided to drive it into the uninhabited forest. But the creature was far too large to control. John had once told Amy that these monsters feared the sound of bells. They could use that weakness to drive it away. But by then, the creature was already heading toward a city amusement park. The ground at the park began to shake, and people thought an earthquake was happening. All the visitors and staff quickly evacuated the amusement park. But soon, the monster appeared at the park. Just as it began moving toward the city center, the military arrived by helicopter, carrying a giant bell. As soon as the loud chime rang out, the monster clutched its ears in pain. It turned out the bell truly was an effective weapon against the monster.